everybody, I am Precious the SoCal Gardener, and as promised, I'm making a video on soap making. Today we're going to make, it's called Relaxing Lavender. You probably couldn't see that, it's far away. Let me see if I can show you something else. It's called Relaxing Lavender. Yeah, Relaxing Lavender soap. It's still backwards. Wish I could fix that for you, but that's sort of what it's supposed to look like when we're done. So you are going to hear lots of wind because I have the doors open. I have my ceiling fan on in the back. When you're making fresh cold pressed soap, you want to have a lot of circulation because you're dealing with sodium hydroxide, and it can fume, it can get to your eyes, and you just want to have an open space. Trust me, this is my second time making it. The first time I really felt the fumes coming from the sodium hydroxide. So I'm going to go over a couple of safety guidelines. I'm new to soap making. I'm taking classes. I suggest if you want to make fresh soap that you do take classes on it. I never knew that making soap can be dangerous because of the sodium hydroxide. So that's just something good to know. Now, I've been taking classes online from a company called Lovin Soap. And that, if you want the website, I'm going to put it on in the video. It's www.lovinsoap.com. lovinsoap.com. Excellent e-classes, very thorough. Now, this is not my recipe for soap. This recipe actually called from a company called Bramble. This is Bramble. Excellent company. This is my second time making soap. I actually have a couple of other soap kits stocked up, ready to make. And then once I make all of those soap, I'm going to be buying all of my ingredients separately. I have a couple of soap recipes in my brain that I'm writing down to create my own recipes for soap. So let's just go over some of the safety and warning information when making soap. So first of all, I'm reading right off of my notes here. In soap making, it's a combination of oils such as coconut oil, olive oil, avocado oil, and is mixed with a lye solution. That's where the sodium hydroxide comes in. The chemical reaction, which then takes place, is called soaponification. After soapnification, we are left with a completely new substance called soap. Okay, so let's get into the safety and general safety of the lye solution. So sodium hydroxide, which is this. I mean, look at that. You see the red there and everything. Sodium hydroxide. You want to make sure you're using a 100% sodium hydroxide. You need to be extra careful. It's always recommended that you purchase your sodium hydroxide from a soap supplier. You could probably get it from like a hardware store, but it may be better that you get it from a soap supplier. Sodium hydroxide is very corrosive substance, and safety precautions, you have to follow them. And I use extra safety precautions. Number one, you want to use safety goggles with extra framing. As you can see, mine has this black framing around them. Safety for the eyes. If lye gets in your eyes, rinse with water and go to an emergency room, or maybe even use one of those plastic safety masks on your face. You want to use nitrile exam gloves, protect gloves. You rinse the water for 2 or 3 minutes, which we've already done, and you can get those gloves at like Walgreens. As you can see, I got the wrong size. I just picked out and I got extra large, but you know what? They still cover my hands and they still work. For me, I also use a safety mask. I stated in other videos before, I have asthma and other breathing issues, so I'm very cautious. You can see me in the garden fully protected. I also wear long sleeves when I'm in the garden or here, because what if some of the Lye solution were to get on my arms or anything like that. So you just want to be very careful with the sodium hydroxide. It's very important. I am not a professional soap maker. As I told you, I'm taking classes, but if you are looking at this video, I do want to go over some safety precautions, and I urge you again to go to a location or online site like lovinsoap.com. They are professionals and they can give you more information than me. I'm just making this video to show you just a simple process of what soap making is. Cold press soap. There's a hot press, and then there's a pour method, and then there's other methods for liquid soap. We are making a we call like regular hard press cold soap. They also warn you about vinegar. Vinegar neutralizes lye, but can cause a worse burn. The reason why they mention this is because many of you may have come across that vinegar is often used to neutralize lye. I was actually looking at another YouTuber. I don't remember her name. Looks like she's a very self-sufficient person, but the first thing she did was pull out a big tub of vinegar and set it right there. So let's go over what vinegar does in case lye, the sodium hydroxide or the Lye solution gets on you. So it is true that vinegar does neutralize lye. However, you won't never want to use it on your body. Okay, to neutralize Lye solution yourself, if it flashes or gets on you, you want to rinse off with water. Vinegar neutralizes lye that has splashed onto a surface, like your countertop here. If you get the Lye solution into your eyes, you want to rinse with water and contact the nearest poison control and go ahead to the emergency room, because it can like permanently damage your eye. You wouldn't think that making soap would be this serious, but it is. So it could damage your eye and it could cause blindness. No matter how comfortable you become with soap making, always wear your protective gear. Always. It only takes one splash to damage your eyesight forever. And if you spill lye on the counter or floor, you can spray a vinegar solution to neutralize it and then wipe it up with a paper towel, probably water it in a paper towel. The bottom line is here, if you get lye on your skin, flush with water. If you get lye on the surface, neutralize with vinegar and rinse, wipe with water. I went over the vinegar Lye solution situation. So let me see here. Okay, so in general, you're going to mix your Lye solution, which you use with distilled water, which I've already measured out the distilled water, into an oil solution. They bind together. It goes into a chemical reaction until the lye is gone, and then you're left with soap, free floating oils and nitroglycerin. That's what happens. The Lye solution goes away and you mix the chemical reaction, left with soap. You want to always, after you open and measure your lye, make sure to completely close it or it will become hard. Like you can hear mine. You better be able to hear mine. Yeah. This is soap. Let me open it. I'm going to put on my glasses. I'm going to open it because I've tried to make sure to do it tightly. And my gloves. And my mask. I'm going to put my mask on too. I'm kind of looking like the sand people in the house, but that's okay. I want to be safe. Woo! Be safe, be safe. Getting kind of foggy, but I'm going to open this. Yeah. And this is, you probably can't really see it, but it's like flakes of lye, okay? See, I kind of caught fumes. All right, I could take this off now. I don't mess around with the Lye solution at all. I just don't. I don't mess around with that. Okay. Now to continue. So you want to make sure you close it up tightly. that lye solution, or it's going to get hard. You won't be able to use it, and you spend a lot of money on that stuff, so make sure you take care of it. Also with the lye solution, make sure you can store it with other cleaning products. Make sure it is marked clearly. Actually, mine I put in a special area where I keep all my soap stuff, and it's in a circulating air area. Just like the house is circulating all this air, I keep my sodium hydroxide in the same area. One thing I wanted to mention, which I'm going to go over the brambleberry stuff, is you always want to use a plastic container or a stainless steel container when you're doing your lye solution and your oils. Your plastic container needs to have the triangle, and I did see it on here before, triangle with number 5 on it. Does this one have it? Here we go. All right, you probably can't see it, but anyway, you've seen those containers that have a triangle with the number 5 on it. It's one there. Let me see if I can find another one. There is one on here, but it's the label. But you got the gist. You want to use if you use like a Tupperware container. Those are the best one. This is a Rubbermaid. It does have the triangle on the bottom, but I already put distilled water in there. So you want to use containers like that. I'm going to caution you now. Brambleberry, I'm going to stop for a minute. Brambleberry is a fantastic company to get your soap making kits. They package it very well. They measure out everything for you. It's very detailed. Tells you what comes in your kit. This was from my other kit, but it tells you what comes in the kit. It gives you directions to use. However, they tell you to use a glass container. It is perfectly okay to use a glass container as long as it's like that Pyrex material, and you don't want to use aluminum, and you do not want to use like wooden utensils like wooden sticks. You want to use like the silicone plastic containers, or stainless steel, or like a Rubbermaid with a triangle on the 5 on it. The reason why you can use glass, but I'm going to tell you why it may be better if you don't use the glass. It's a warning here. Do not mix your lye solution in a glass container. Even though Pyrex is known for shattering, is known for never shattering. I apologize. There have been stories of people who are soapers who have had their containers shatter over the years due to the lye etching the glass and causing weak spots within your Pyrex, and then eventually it just shatters. So like I said, you wouldn't believe that soap making is dangerous, but it can be. So just be aware of that and caution, maybe stay away from Pyrex when making your lye solution, and stick with either stainless steel or plastic. Personally, I feel better with the plastic, so I'm using plastic. Also, do not use aluminum containers or utensils. Sodium hydroxide reacts to aluminum. Again, stainless steel, not aluminum, creating a hydrogen gas. So make sure that the only metal you use is stainless steel. So another safety precaution. So it says to make your solution near an open window or door due to odors from the lye solution. Like I said, got the ceiling fan on, I got the doors open. Today it's actually very windy outside, but I don't care. I want to make this soap, and I want to make sure I'm being cautious. You want to make sure you have an infrared thermometer because you want to check the temperature. I got this from Home Depot. It's a Klein's Tools. You just do this, point it at something, and it gives you temperature. It's pretty cool, pretty nifty. I kind of like it. Makes me feel powerful. Looks like my nail air gun. All right. So you want to check the temperature of your lye solution and your oil solution. So when you check the temperatures of each of the solutions, they should be between 80 to 100 degrees for lye and oils. Excuse me. And there's a reason that you want your solutions between those temperatures. You can run the risk of the soap getting too thick. Lower temperatures helps give you the time you need for like coloring and all that stuff. So you want to make sure that you have the right temperature. Again, you wouldn't think that you would need an infrared thermometer for soap. But yeah, it's, you know, hey, very nifty tool. All right, something else you need is a digital scale that Brambleberry gives to you. Like I said, I ordered a couple of kits and I think I got a scale with each kit, which is really awesome. But again, I'm not going to need any more scales. I'm not going to need any more sodium hydroxide for a while, because in a minute I'm going to start buying all of my oils and stuff in bulk and won't need to buy kits. But if you're just doing soap making for a hobby, which eventually I hope to turn this into a business, Brambleberry is very, very good. I'm going to say I was very impressed when I got my first kit from them. You want to turn on your digital scale, make sure it is already showing in the appropriate units that you want it in, ounces, pounds, grams, whatever the soap recipe calls for you to measure your oils in. Again, you want to mix the solution in a well-ventilated area, because it does fume. As you can see, when I opened it, I smelled fumes. So be careful. Always, always remember, you're going to pour your sodium hydroxide into your water solution. Never, ever, ever, ever pour anything into your sodium hydroxide, because it can explode in a container. You didn't think about that with soap, did you? That making it can cause an explosion. Again, never, ever pour anything into your sodium hydroxide. Even after you make your lye solution, which is simply the sodium hydroxide and the distilled water, and you want to start mixing it with your oil solution, you're going to take that lye solution and pour it into your oils. You're never going to pour anything into your sodium hydroxide. Remember that. When preparing your base oils, again, you're going to use stainless steel or plastic containers that have that rectangle with the 5 on it. You're going to weigh out your oils and your butters first and then melt those. One thing, even though we're not using coconut oil today, if you're going to use coconut oil to make the hard bar soaps, you want to use the solid coconut oil that you have to make. You don't want to use the liquid, or what they call fractionated coconut oil, when you make a hard soap, because it never gets hard. You're probably going to use it for a liquid soap, but I'm not there yet. I haven't gone to making the hot soap and a hot press soap, and I haven't gone to making the liquid soap yet. But always remember, when you're making cold press soap and you want that bar soap, you want to use solid oils and butters that you can melt and that can solidify and come back to being hard. Okay, so I wanted to go over that stuff. Also, if you want more information on the sodium hydroxide, always find you an MSDS sheet, which is a material safety data sheet. You can Google them online. You can put in MSDS sodium hydroxide sheet, and it will pull up all types of information, because that's very important. It's always important to stay safe. I'm the kind of person that loves learning. As you guys know, I love my gardening. I'm thinking about joining a master gardening class. Do I need to join a gardening mastering class? No, I probably don't. But I think I want to learn more in detail what I'm doing out in the garden versus what I'm doing out in the garden, and making sure that I'm doing it right. I think I'm doing it right most of the time, I could be wrong. So it might be beneficial for me to take a class. The same thing with this. When you're making soap, you want to make sure that you're not being disturbed. If you have kids, make sure you're in a quiet, ventilated place again and making the soap. Let's get into this. Okay. One thing I did is I went and I rinsed out all of my containers. Okay. I went and rinsed them all out to make sure there's not, and sometimes dust still gets in here, but I make sure I went and rinsed them all out. And I'm actually going to take a paper towel right here behind the camera. Just because I need to dry out this little container that I use. Okay. And the recipe is on the back. Okay. So I want to make sure this is pushed down because your eyes get all foggy when you're in there. How do I look? Do I look beautiful? I hope I do. I hope I look beautifully safe. That's what I hope I look like. Okay. All right. Let's do this. Okay. Step 1, it says here, and I'm going to put it right here. Set up your scale and make sure it is set to ounces. One thing I want to tell you about Brambleberry, it does tell you to measure out everything, but Brambleberry actually measures out everything for you and put it in these awesome containers like this. This is the Lavender essential oil. Okay, they have the pigment to make it purple. They have the alcohol, which you spray on top. They have the sodium lactate that you pour. It's all measured out. They are awesome, and they package it very well. They even give you the what do you call this thing? The soap mold that you pour the soap in. Okay, so as I stated earlier already, and you use distilled water. Okay, one thing I want to tell you is you use distilled water because you want your water to be not have a whole bunch of extra minerals and stuff. Now see, I rinsed this out and I still found a little, just, you know, you get dust and stuff, and you don't want that in your soap. Even though I went and this little thing doesn't want to come out. Give me a second, people. Sorry. I don't want to stick a paper towel in here. I don't know. Got it. Bam. All right. Because you don't want unnecessary minerals. So use distilled water. Okay. So this solution calls for 10 ounces of room temperature distilled water. In a separate medium glass container, weigh out 4.7 ounces of sodium hydroxide. Okay, so I'm turning this on. I'm putting it on here. Now I'm going to zero out the scale because I don't want it to weigh the container. I just want to weigh the sodium hydroxide. This is something else that I do. Even though, now remember, this sodium hydroxide is a solid. This is a liquid measuring cup. That's why I have it on the scale. So, it says measure out 4 ounces of the sodium hydroxide lye flakes. Let's see if I can stick this in here. You could probably do it like this. 4.7 ounces. Okay. Let's keep going. Oop. That's a little bit too much. I'm going to put some of that back. 4.73. 4.69. Really? $4.69. Let's see if I can get it to 4.7. 4.73. You want to get it as close as you can. That's good. Okay. It still says 4.73. 4.69 ounces. All right, and of course I'm going to wash that later. Am I doing okay? I hope I'm doing okay. Let me know if I'm not doing okay. So, the recipe says, slowly and carefully add the lye to the water and gently stir until it has fully dissolved. So you want the lye to fully dissolve. I'm reading the directions as it's telling me here, okay? So you guys see that. So I'm going to slowly, I've seen people just pour it in here, and this is where the fumes come in. So then you just stir. Stir, 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 stir. I'm going to move the scale back over here because it does fume, and I'm going to kind of move away over here. Sorry, I thought I heard something. And I'm going to add some more sodium hydroxide in there. And you keep on stirring, and you keep on stirring, and you keep on stirring. It's going to take a little time. See? Keep on stirring. Pour some more. All right. And I'm back here because it does fume. That's why I wear the mask. And guess what? You can feel the warmth. It gets very warm. This is why you want to use a plastic container. I don't know. I've seen people make it without a mask. I don't know how they do it. You see, I still have some solution left. And you just keep mixing until it is dissolved. Dissolved, dissolved. See, I just saw a little bit splash onto the scale. You can actually, I don't know if you can see fumes on the camera, but I want to keep mixing this. I don't want to touch the camera because I want you guys to keep seeing this, how I'm doing this. This is awesome. All right. And it looks about just dissolved. Yes, we're dissolved. You can, I don't know if you can see, it's a little fog and it's warm. It's really warm. So now I'm going to take the temperature. It says that it's at 184.6 degrees Fahrenheit. So what you do now is you take this, you put it to the side, and you let it cool down. Make sure that's closed tightly. Now I got my big mama jumbo right here. Next we're going to get into making the oil solution. So it says to prep the oils. This is called lots of lather, and it wants you to fully melt the entire bag of lots of lather in the microwave, and you leave the cap on until there are no chunks or cloudiness, and then give the bag a good shake. It weighs out to 33 ounces into a large glass bowl. But again, we're not using a glass bowl. Now this is mostly melted, but it's going to be a little bit lighter and clearer. So I'm going to be right back. I'm going to put this in a microwave for about 30 seconds. everybody, I'm back. This is what it looks like. I had to melt it for 30 seconds twice, so a minute. Yeah, a minute. Okay. And you want to kind of move kind of swift and fast, but stay safe. Stay safe, I mean. Okay. Shake well, which I did. Pour it into a bowl, set it aside. I could get it open. Brambleberry does everything very well. Set it to the side. All right. Now it says in a small glass cup. Now I am going to do my, I want to make sure all of it is out. I am going to do my oils in my Pyrex container because it's just going to be a lot easier. And it says, set it to the side. Okay. Prep essential oil in a small glass container. Weigh essential oil according to the preference. I'm going to do the whole thing. You can either use 1 ounce, 1.3 ounces, or 1.7 ounces. I'm going to use the whole thing, 1.75 ounces, because I want that scent to last. Okay. Next, and it says prep it, but they've already prepped it for you. See, this is what I'm saying. Next, it says add your sodium lactate, which is an additive, to the lots of lather quick mix. When the lots of lather quick mix and lye are both at 110 to 130 Fahrenheit, carefully add 2 teaspoons of sodium lactate. It says 2 teaspoons. Okay. To the lye solution. Okay. So this one is a little different than the last one I did. I said, when the lots of lather, is at 109, which is actually okay. And then, and let me get the lye solution. The lye solution is going down, but we need to wait a little bit more. It's not quite there yet. We need it to get down to 110. Okay, we're just going to give it a little bit of time here. And we're going to see what happens. Okay? Okay. So, while I'm waiting for the lye solution to calm down, it's at 153 now. It says I can add the color, which is this. 1 tablespoon, 1 teaspoon of this, which I think this is 1 teaspoon. We're gonna see. To the lots of lather. Woo. 1 teaspoon, come on. And this probably is just about 1 teaspoon because they weigh it out very well. Yeah, 2 ounces. And it says use the stick blender to fully incorporate it. Which I will. is a spatula, I'm sorry. But the stick blender is right there. Since I got that on the spoon, I'm gonna pour the rest of this in here. And it says use the stick blender. See, that was about that was about 2. I'm just gonna put it all in there because Brambleberry measures out everything for you. Sorry about the pause there. Just want to make sure I'm doing what I'm doing. This is a stick blender. I feel so powerful. I always feel powerful, don't I? So what you want to do is you take your stick blender. Put it on low power. And you could take your stick blender and kind of do that. That is very, 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 very deep color there. You do this, and you could just stand the stick blender up like that. So I'm going to check the lye solution again. I'm going to use this because it's getting down. You want it to get down to 130 degrees Fahrenheit. It's not there yet. I'm going to give it a couple of more minutes. This is why you want the infrared thermometer. See, I don't know, you can't see it, can you? 145, that's what it says. Okay. And so since that's doing that, I'm actually going to mix this around some more. I'm going to take this here and just scrape the edges. Can you guys see that? It's like super purple, like deep, deep purple. It's kind of cool. I'm going to take the stick blender and do this. Kind of scrape it off of there and scrape it off of my spatula. I mean, it really is incorporated, but I paid money for this, so I don't like to waste anything. Okay. All right. I'm going to put it to the side again. Nope, I don't want that on that spatula. And you kind of mix the lye solution around. It's getting there. It's at 138 degrees, you guys. We are getting there. We are getting there. Give it a little bit more time. Okay. Put my distilled water here so I can set this here. And while we're waiting, I'm actually going to go wash this off real quick. I'm back. Now you guys may be thinking, why do I still have my gloves and glasses on? Well, because until that lye solution is fully combined, until these oils and makes the soap and it's gone, I'm staying safe. I'm going to stay safe. So let's check it again. Still 136. So bring it closer because it's starting to cool down, but it's still, I mean, 138 degrees Fahrenheit. Yeah, it's warm. It's very warm. So we're not ready yet, but I'm gonna keep on doing this. Down to 146. Once it hits 130, it says, when the lots of lather quick mix and your lye are both at 110, carefully add 2 teaspoons, not tablespoons, sorry, of the sodium lactate to the lye solution and use a spoon to gently stir in. Wash it off. Wish it would cool down sooner. It's not. That's okay, because I'm going to keep making sure this is all. See, there's still some solution. This is still at the bottom. I might use the stick blender again. I'm going to keep on. But that is a pretty purple. Can you guys see that? That is a pretty purple. That's going to be a pretty color. But I'm just kind of mixing here. This is going to be a really pretty thing. Yeah, I put that whole thing in there. Pretty much, when you order from Bramble, they usually measure out everything precisely for you. So that's a good thing about buying the kits from them. And hey, see if they have any on sale. I really like that company. It's really good company. Let's get back to this lye solution. So I'm going to mix, as that kind of helps it. We are at 130.6, and I'm going to start adding the solution. Okay, so it says carefully add 2 TSP, 2 of these. 1, 2, and gently stir. Wash off spoon immediately and begin. So let me go wash off my spoon immediately, like it tells me to. Be right back. I'm back. Okay. Let's get this back on. Let's get her moving. Come on. We ready to get this soap going, aren't we? I know I am. I've been waiting to make this soap. So I'm just going to stir this a little bit more. Okay. So we added the color. Now, it says slowly and carefully add the lye solution to the lots of lather quick mix. Pulse the blender on and off for 15 to 20 seconds and then use it to stir the mixture. Okay? It says slowly. So that's what we're going to do. Do it over here. Easy. see it's getting a bit, there's no trace, but it's starting to get a little thick. It says for 15 to 20 seconds. Now while that sits there, I'm going to add the essential oil into the soap and use the blender to completely mix it in. So and you do it in pulses because you want to take your time mixing in the soap. Ooh, that lavender smells so good. I actually grow lavender in my front yard. And I just put some lavender on seedlings. And then you take it and you mix. Continue to stick blend and mix until the texture is thick. This will take about 1 to 3 minutes. We'll see. We have a little bit of a trace. Well, let me tell you what a trace is. A trace is when you're mixing your soap and you pick up the blender and you go like this and it kind of sits on top. It's not quite there yet. To the side to see how it's doing. But you can smell that lavender. And this is why you have all of the windows and everything open, because you have lots of fumes and everything going. You're probably thinking, I did not know that it was so intense to make soap. Look at that. I wish I can bring it closer for you to see, but it kind of sits on top now. It's getting thick. I like that, but I'm going to do it a little bit to do now is take off my goggles. Whew. And take this off. Leave my gloves on though. The first time I made soap, that's real big now. I had accidentally picked up the stick blender and the soap popped in my face. It popped everywhere. This definitely has a trace now. It's nice and thick. And it said, like it did, it took about what? 1 to 3 minutes for it to That's what I did. Man. Look at that. Nice and thick. And I'm just going to set that there. And see how thick that is? We just made soap, everybody. Okay, so it says next to take the soap and pour it into the mold. Still a little warm. Tap the mold firmly on the counter. Use a spoon to release any bubbles. And I'm noticing that we do have a lot of bubbles in this particular soap. So that's what we're going to do. And I'm scraping tap the soap, the thing down so I can get some more in there. I do have another soap mold, but I don't have a small one. Ooh, that smells so good. It smells like if I just been at the Lavender Festival out here in the area where I live. We have an area out here where I live where they have these beautiful lavender fields, and they have a lavender festival every year out here in Southern California. In fact, we have all kind of festivals in Southern California. We have tamale festivals. I was like, I didn't know we had a tamale festival. We have taco. We have a salsa festival. We just have a festival for everything. And I guess that's what makes us Californians unique, because we got a festival for something. So at the Lavender Festival, they actually make like lavender lemonade. They tell you how to make lavender oils. And I'm actually, like I said a little bit earlier, I have some lavender seedlings that I'm growing. Every year I would always go, well, not every year, but every other year, I would always go to my local nursery, which is Cherry Valley Nursery, and purchase lavender, because something would always happen with my lavender in the front yard. And this year I'm like, I'm going to grow my own lavender. And that's what I'm going to do. So, yeah. Come on, come on. See how I put that in the mold? Isn't that pretty? So it says, pour it into the mold. Tap the mold firmly on the counter to release bubbles. I'm going to do it again. Use the spoon to create a texture on top. I'm just going to, I want to make sure I release any bubbles. So I'm going to see, I'm just going to take this, and I want it to be even. And I'm just going to create a little texture on top. I don't know if I like that. Let's do this. See, when it's nice and thick like that. I think I'm going to use the smaller spatula for this. Well, can't get it, can I? No, I'm not going to use the smaller spatula because I didn't clean it and I don't want to mess up the formula. Okay. So now, or maybe I could just use, I'm going to take these gloves off. Maybe I could just use one of these and just swoop, 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 swoop. Make a little pattern on top. And just do it like this. And just kind of scoop it some more. Make it look kind of pretty, I guess. That's what I'm trying to do. Okay, I'm going to close that up because I used all of that. Now, to finish the top, I'm sprinkle some lavender buds on the top of the soap. And then I'm going to spritz it with the alcohol. And the reason why you spritz the soap with alcohol is because sometimes soap forms like this kind of like white ash on top. And it doesn't mean that the soap is bad. It's just something happened with the mixture and it has this white ash on top. So you spray the alcohol on top to kind of prevent that. And I'm just going to take it and just sprinkle the lavender buds on top to make it look pretty. Now mine is darker than the one in the picture. Could be because I used all the coloring and I wanted it to be deep dark, and that's for me. And I'm going to sprinkle all of this. The last time I made soap, like I said, I made the orange energizing soap, and this is the relaxing lavender, and it does have a very, very relaxing smell. And I'm going to pull one of those out and show you something, and it still smells so good. Oh my gosh, that energizing orange smells so citrusy. And I'm going to use all of this because I don't need to save it for anything. I don't need to save it for anything. Well, maybe I won't use it all. I'm just going to cover it till I can't cover it no more. Isn't that pretty? I am very, very happy. I think that actually turned out very well. I am very excited about this. I think everybody should learn how to make certain things that make you more self-sufficient. As you know, I love gardening. I think gardening keeps me from relying on the markets when I can make my own stuff. I canned my own tomatoes for the first time last year. It was awesome. So this year, as you guys see, if you look at one of my other videos, I'm going to have cherry tomatoes. I'm going to have Kellogg's breakfast tomatoes. I'm going to have Black Beauty tomatoes and beefsteak. Those are what I'm growing, and I'm going to plan on having a lot of those plants. Most of my seedlings are ready to be planted, but our last frost date here in Zone 9, where I live, is around March 19th, March 20th. And so my plants are hanging on in here because they are not ready to be planted. And I made room and I started some marigold seedlings, lavender seedlings, and some other kind of plants. One that's an edible plant. I can't think of the name right now. But yeah, I started a whole bunch of seedlings because I plan on companion planting. So doing something like making soap, it can be a hobby. Gardening is a hobby. It's also helping me be, again, self-sufficient, and so is soap making. If I know how to make my own soap, then hey, I'm grooving, you know. If I know how to make a soap that's good for my skin, or maybe a soap that's good for a guy for like shaving or something like that, that's a good thing, you know. So as you can see, I'm gonna pick it up. This is our relaxing lavender soap. Very excited. And the next step, it says we're gonna let the mold harden for 2 to 3 days. This is what it's gonna look like. They didn't use a lot of the what do you call it, of the lavender seeds or whatever, but I used them all. So as you can see, I made a mess and I have to clean it, but I did promise you a soap making video and I did it. It smells delicious. Oh, I'll be right back. I wanted to show you something about the energizing orange soap that I made. This is how, well, let me go get a piece of soap real quick. I'll be right back. I'm back. So this is the energizing orange soap that I made, I'm gonna say about 2 months ago. Oh my God, it smells so good. It is now fully cured and usable. But there's something that I didn't do that I wish I had done, and that is take a potato peeler, like after I had cut it out the mold, and kind of smoothed out the edges. I'm gonna see, because I think now it may be too hard. Oh no, it's not too hard, look. But what you do is, once your soap has fully cured, you kind of want to take those edges and make them a little softer. As you can notice, this was my first try. I formed the little, like I did here. I formed a little design on top, but I think I went too deep, as you can see. But this soap is still usable. It smells so good. And that's one thing I wanted to tell you about, was that. So this is called the Relaxing Lavender Soap. I highly recommend Brambleberry to buy soap making kits. It's an excellent company. They measure out everything for you. Again, get your safety gear. Make sure you have all the tools you need to make the soap. Make sure your house is fully ventilated and stay safe. I'm going to try to make a soap video at least once a month to show you the different kinds, the different stuff you make, maybe get some different molds. So this is part 1 to the lavender video. Part 2 will be in a couple of days when I cut the soap up, which I kind of messed up that orange one. Hopefully I'll do better on this one, and show you how that goes. So for now, I'm looking for something here. I apologize, looking for my remote to turn off the camera. So for now, I'm going to sign off. Again, as I always say, stay safe, social distance, wash your hands, and wear your mask, and still try to enjoy life, but stay safe, everyone. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and share and subscribe, because I plan on making lots of other videos. So, and try to make you some soap. Try to find woodworking. Try to find something that you like doing and share it with everyone. You never know. You never know what you're going to find you like. So mine is gardening and mine is soap making, and I don't think I need any other hobbies or anything else right now to add to my collection, because they both take up a lot of my time. But I love it. It makes me happy. It makes me happy to create things. So again, I'm going to say it again. Stay safe. Wash your hands. Wear your mask. And social distance. Love you all, and have a good day. Hey everybody, I'm back. So one thing I forgot to mention is that when you are making soap, you want to have separate tools for your soap. You don't want to be using your like Tupperware that you're going to use to take work, take your lunch. You don't want leftover remnants in food or anything like that. So make sure you have your own separate tools to make your soap. Everything that you saw me use today, I clean it and I store it in my soap area. I even have this container here that has all this stuff. Like I said, every time Brambleberry, if you use Brambleberry, they send you supplies. You get a pair of goggles. Now I have 2 pair of goggles. I probably got 2 more pairs sitting in there, because I have 2 more soap making kits sitting in there. You get a scale. You get a scale every time you use Brambleberry. So just make sure you're using your own tools. And that's vice versa. You don't want to be using a Tupperware thing that you use to make your soap, and you're taking it to work for, to use for food. When you're washing out your stuff, make sure you wash it out right away, especially your stick blender. Kind of check that, because remember, we just used essential oils. Those oils stick to stuff. So make sure you wash everything out with hot soapy water, sit it to the side, let it dry, and only use those tools, those utensils, those bowls, only use them for soap making. Buy your separate stuff. Don't use it for food. Use it for soap making only. And I think that is about it. I hope that you enjoyed the video. I am going to put the links to Brambleberry and Lovin Soap down in the comments area so that you guys could click on the link, and you know, if you want to make soap and do stuff for, you know, for yourself. It's no secret. All of this information is out there. This is just something that I love to do. It seems like all the stuff I love to do can be very tedious, but this is what I like to do. It kind of lets time go by, and I'm making a product. I'm making soap. I'm using something that I can use and that other people can enjoy and use. Like I said, I like to be self-sufficient. So again, make sure with soap, make sure you're using the right tools, the right containers. Make sure you are being safe. As you saw in this video, that I kept kind of coughing because the fumes from the sodium hydroxide were just coming at me. You don't have to wear a mask, but I wear a mask. Make sure you use your goggles. Make sure you use your gloves. Make sure you're using all of the safety procedures. Make sure you wash everything, and make sure you're using the proper tools. Okay, you guys have a good day. I'm going to go eat now and chill and just get ready for work tomorrow. Have a good day. Peace and love. Bye.